Welcome to the Box People. Today we are joined by the lovely Renee, who will be talking about her man,
Not the one she's married to.
her guy,
Basically, her Ian.
her Ian, yeah,
My Ian, yeah.
the very handsome, very talented Nestor Carbonell. So I guess I'll kick it off with the first question as which performance of Nestor's pulled you in, made you like a super fan?
Definitely Romero from Bates Motel. But I had actually seen him years ago. Actually, when I was a teenager, I had watched The Tick, but I didn't know that it was him.
I like the Tick.
So, yeah.
So
It's funny.
you run Nestor's official fan site.
Mhm.
And what is the name of where can people go to visit that?
You can find the website at Nestor Carbonell, Nestor/Carbonell.com. And then you can find it on Instagram and Twitter,
So
Facebook as well.
it's all, yeah, okay, yeah, because we follow each other on Twitter and Instagram.
Mhm.
So
Well, yeah, I have a question about that. So I was curious about how that started. So how did you go about running his page?
So I kind of fell into it. That's how I kind of look at it. I was actually at the time running a website on Stevie Nicks. I'm a big Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac fan,
oh,
and love it. I've seen him twice in concert. But I'm also part of like the fan site community. Like you have all these fandoms and people who run fan sites, websites. That's a community or fandom in and of itself.
Yeah.
So we go on like message boards and we'll like say like, oh, here's what I'm doing with my website. And a lot of times, if people no longer run theirs, they'll say like, hey, does someone want to run this website in my place, or, I'm going to shut it down or whatever. And so someone was no longer running a fan site on Vera Farmiga. And I had actually watched Bates Motel at the time. And I said, oh, I loved her from The Conjuring and from Orphan, what the heck, I'll give it a go. Well, of course, while watching Bates Motel, I loved Norma and Romero. And so I said, hey, let me look this Nestor guy up. And so I did. And I realized I had seen him in other things, The Dark Knight and The Tick. And I said, I'm going to run a site on him as well. And so I decided to start it first. And I ended up not even running the Vera Farmiga site. I just did the Nestor site. So that's what I ended up doing.
that's right. He was the mayor in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Richard Alpert, that character?
Yes, I am. I think out of all of his characters, he's the one that's probably developed the most, actually, is Richard Alpert. And then the second would probably be Romero. So we got the backstory with Richard Alpert. We didn't get a lot of backstory with Alex on Bates Motel, so.
Right. And he was heavily involved with the morning show, right?
Yeah, that's what he's doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's on, what season is that on now?
They're filming season 3 right now.
Season 3, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He plays the
Have you
weatherman.
met Nestor?
Virtually, but I haven't met him at a convention. I was hoping to go to the one in Salt Lake, but I couldn't swing it, and he ended up canceling anyway, which I did know about. But
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did reach out. I couldn't find anyone that was going, but
yeah.
So Nestor follows you though, right, on social media?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I hear he is a really nice guy.
He's really nice, yes.
Yeah.
The Cusa Gallery girls, I believe, have a really great, I believe it's him. I believe they have a really great story about him when they met Ian in Hawaii. That might be something. I don't want to say what it is right now, just because I don't, but if you ever get the chance, you might want to reach out to Kathy and talk to her. But I believe they have a really lovely story about him.
I'll have to ask. I do talk to Kathy because when I actually got into the fandom, I had met them, the Cusick Gallery, and they were so nice. They welcomed me in, and they were telling people like, hey, go follow this page because it's on Nestor Carbonell. And that was actually how he followed on Twitter, was because Erica had shared the page saying, hey, go check out Nestor's fan page, and he ended up following it. So
well,
really nice.
to give some context, you'll just have to mention to Kathy, I believe it takes place in a subway. So
Subway.
yeah, in a subway. So anyway, but reach out to her, find out about that. If at any point in time we'll have to get a clip of one of the girls talking about it, and we could just maybe add it here or something. But it's a very sweet story about Nestor.
And I think Erica's as big a fan of Nestor's as she is of Ian's. I know she loves Nestor.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're friends, and they got a lot of like, you know, similar features as far as, you know, their kindness and how they are with their fans, and they look like they never age. It's like so crazy to me.
They're still on the island, that's why.
It's something about that show. A lot of those cast members look like they don't friggin' age. It was cool. They had that little, too bad Nestor wasn't there, kind of like a little mini reunion over in Hawaii. It was Ian,
Sawyer, right?
Daniel, and what's his real name? Josh?
Yeah, Josh Holloway, I think.
Josh Holloway, yeah. He's handsome fella, as is Daniel. But so
as is Ian.
Ian's okay. I mean,
he's all right. I mean, he's fun really to look at, but whatever. I don't care.
Lulu, Chrissy, do you guys have any questions?
Not at this point, no. I'm just surprised. I was just surprised that I going to go and check that movie out, The Tick. I couldn't remember if he was in that movie, but now I'm going to go and rewatch it.
He's one of those actors that have been in a bunch of like. He's been in a lot of stuff. Like I forgot he was the mayor in the. And I remember one of the things I always noticed, and I think a lot of his fans probably say something. I don't know if you guys see this, but like. From his Lost Days till now, he has such like beautiful eyes.
So I like him from Bates Motel. So so I've always loved like Psycho, all that stuff. And so when I found out it was coming out, and I was already oh my goodness, his name is escaping me. The young man, you know, the main character in Bates Motel. What's
Norman
his name?
Bates. Norman
no, but the real life guy.
Oh, are you talking about Freddie Highmore or
no? Freddie. So I've always been a fan. He's been acting for years and years since he was a little tiny guy, right? And so I've always just thought he was like just such a great actor, and he's proven it right through his career. He's just proven it. So when Bates Motel came out, and I don't know if you guys remember the trailer for that show, but they would have the hotel sign and it would be like flashing, like it was having like an electrical issue or whatever. I was like, I have got to watch this. And then Nestor was on that, and now I have already seen Nestor on Lost and all that, but it was Bates Motel where I was like, oh, he's good. Because there was like, even though you didn't know a lot about the character, you could like everyone he associated with in that show, like his dynamic came out, like you saw it so well done, you know. So, but that's where I got pulled in, you know, and such a great show. So if anybody's watching and you have not seen Bates Motel, you have got to go and watch it.
It's another movie I need to go and watch. Thanks again. I'm checking these down on the list.
Yeah. Chrissy's gonna have like 30 shows to watch by the end of it.
There's very popular ship, like a relationship in that show between him and Vera's character, right?
Yeah, they.
I'm just checking all these movies out now on his page, and I'm like, okay, I need to watch that. Jesus, he's made a ton of movies.
You can't
not made, but been in a lot of films. So,
well, the funny thing is what I find interesting is he had been in stuff like in the 90s. Like his first thing was he was in what was it? As the World Turns. That was the first TV show he did. And then, but he got his really, really big break was when he did Suddenly Susan, and it was comedy.
Right.
I remember that one.
That was a great show.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm not big on comedy, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's worth it when you.
I love thrillers, anything scary, right? Like that is just where I really enjoy watching, things. But suddenly, Susan, it would come on late at night, right when my son was little, and that's how I started watching it. But yeah, and when I go back and I start thinking about like Nestor or all these other actors I've seen over the years, it's like, oh, they were in that and they were in that. And you start to feel like you kind of know them a little bit, which is awesome because you can't do that with every actor. And so it's kind of like what Tina was saying, like Ian and Nestor both, they kind of have that in common where they're likable, you like them. And then when you get a chance to meet them in real life, you love them even more. So he both of them are very charismatic, and not everybody can pull that off, but they pull it off without coming off as a jerk. So because a lot of people try to be and they come off as idiots, but they are two that don't suffer with that, and they're fun to look at. So there's that.
Yeah, and Nestor's wife Shannon, I believe, just wrote a book recently.
Yes, last year. It came out last year. Yeah, it was on her time in Hawaii.
What's that called?
All is Not Lost.
That's right. And I think Erica was like one of the first ones to get that. Like she was on it and got it. But I wanted to find out, a little bit more about you. So tell us about you, Renee.
Well, I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I'm a veteran. I was in the Marine Corps. And
that's awesome.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Oh, Tina beat me to it.
So and then I'm a paralegal. I work for a lawyer. So
my niece does that.
Who?
She just got her certificate. She just graduated.
Oh, okay.
She just got a brand new job now that she has her certificate. Gets paid a lot more. And anyways, loving it. I worked for a lawyer for a while, and one of my fanfics takes place because I was working in a lawyer's office. So it gave me all kinds of like, I got to write about this. So anyway, but good for you. Is that something like you really enjoy, like something you always wanted to do?
It was. I have my bachelor's degree in paralegal studies, and I wanted to do it in the military, but it didn't work out like that. So when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do once I got out, that was what I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But it took a while to get to it because I think it's a lot harder to get into the legal field than what people assume.
Right.
So it took a while.
Yeah, that's the one thing when I was looking for a lawyer's office and we were doing family law. And I think the most difficult part about that was what you see that it's one thing if parents and they don't work out, but it's a whole nother thing when you see that kids are victims of a divorce, because it's like, oh, I'm not going to drop him off at 4. No, I'm not going to pick him up at 5. Like, it's just so much drama. And it's like, let kids be kids. Like, they shouldn't have to suffer because you and whoever you're with, didn't work out. And if we could just be adults and act like adults and not put kids in the middle, the world would be a much better place. And so that was one of the most heartbreaking things about when I was working there, is just seeing like even the text messages back and forth. And sometimes the older kids would be CC'd on these messages. And it was like so heart-wrenching. Like, they shouldn't have to hear parents calling each other names. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah.
Lulu.
Yes.
Are you a fan of any Nestor's work, or do you hate him?
Well, okay. Like, I only see him on Lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never see anything else he did, so I can't like really say anything.
I guarantee you, if you watch Bates Motel, you're gonna fall in love with that relationship he has with Vera's character. It's such
everybody does.
Yeah.
Unless they ship Norma and Norman, then they don't like it.
They have really good chemistry. So
wait. I missed that, Renee. What did you say?
I said everyone loves them together unless they ship Norma and Norman.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's like that rivalry there.
Well, every ship has at least one rival. Like, I think we've all that in fandom. But
yeah, absolutely. But I gotta say, like, I am a huge fan of Vera. Like, I love her. And I watched all the Conjuring movies, like all these things. And she is, and like you, The Orphan, like that movie blew my mind because I wanted to hurt that little girl, right? Who turns out, you know the whole story. I don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't watched it, but it was like, you have got to take this kid out. Right. And so this poor mom the whole time. If you watch the movie, you wouldn't be laughing, Tina. And so
I've seen The Orphan.
well, then why aren't you on my side?
I am on your side. It's just funny hearing you say that you want to hurt this kid for people that haven't seen it.
You got me there. You totally got me. But yeah, like I love her. I think she's fantastic. So I mean, for her to even play that role is Norma, what a fantastic role for her.
So
have you seen her new show? I know we're lapsing off of that. We're tangent.
That's
going on a
okay.
tangent,
We're
but
allowed to do that.
Have you seen the new show she did, 5 Days of Memorial? I haven't watched it yet, but it
No.
looks really good.
What's it about?
It's about a doctor at a memorial hospital when Hurricane Katrina hit, and they got stuck in the hospital. And I think she was an oncologist, I think. And after they got rescued, some of the patients had died, and they tried to say that her and one of the nurses had killed the patients by overdosing them. And she was like, well, no, we had to like reverse triage them. I think they were like terminally ill patients. They took care of them the best they could. So, and I think she eventually got her record. I'm sorry?
I said, that's so sad.
Yeah. But it looks good. And I think the actual woman, I think she got her record expunged to where I think she practices medicine now again. But it's based on a real story.
Well,
Well-
yeah, that took a hard turn, man. A couple times here during this podcast, we went to like way different subjects.
I have to say, I know, I don't know if you know this, but we've been dying for Ian and Nestor to work together.
Oh, yes.
We're putting out this plea, if you guys watch, to please do anything, even if it's a short. And I also want to say, Nestor is always welcome on our podcast. And if he ever actually came on, we would love you, Renee, to be a part of that podcast.
Oh,
But hasn't he been begging to come on?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Nestor.
Hasn't he been begging to come on though, Tina?
I told Nestor, like, you got to settle down, fella.
Yeah, like it seems like you're a little too excitable about it.
Yeah,
We're gonna need to tone it down.
Nestor doesn't know any of us that we even exist. He will now. So
we're gonna hashtag it. We're gonna hashtag it Box People and then Nesta.
I would love to have Nestor and Ian on, or even Nestor and his wife on, or just Nestor. But
We're just seeing.
oh,
Annie can come on too. We're not opposed. We love her.
but I just want to really say, Nestor, you're always welcome on. And if you do come on, Renee will be on with us. And we would love to see Renee geek out in front of us. Just lose
There
her.
will be
We
no
would love
geeking
to
out.
see that.
Yeah.
Has he been to Australia?
His wife's from Australia.
Oh,
They got married in Australia, actually.
oh, whereabouts?
Oh,
I should be asking this question on this question.
oh gosh. I would have to look it up. But they got married in January, and I kept going, why did they get married in January? And then I was like, oh, the weather's different. So
Yeah, it's beautiful in January.
yeah.